6 most frequently asked Toyota Tacoma questions. I get these a lot on the channel. Well, good afternoon everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. And these are the 6 most frequently asked questions that I get on the channel. Seems like every so often they start to come up again. So I thought I'd kind of update the list a little bit. I think I've done something like this before, but obviously things change. Real quick, before we get into it, smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Gonna be serenaded in the background. It's springtime, almost, if not, and the birds are back and they are loud. So let's start off with number 1. This is probably the number 1 most asked question, and that is, what size tires can I put on the Toyota Tacoma? What size tires fit? You know, it depends. You can't just answer that question, and I think that's where a lot of people get into trouble. You know, they'll ask that question, and the person answering, first of all, they shouldn't answer because they have no idea what you're looking for, what you do with your truck, what your setup is, what kind of wheels you're going to put on. There are just a lot of variables. You know, what kind of offset are you going to run? Because that might determine whether or not you have some sort of a rub, which is like the worst thing that can happen when you put new tires on your truck. I mean, you pull out of that shop, you hit an incline or something, and you hear that scrape or that rub. That's horrible. So I do have a video. There is a chart in there, and it shows for different scenarios what size tires you can put on your Toyota Tacoma. I will leave a link down below to that. Check it out. It's got a lot of good information in it, and it might help to decide what size tires you should put on your Toyota Tacoma. Number 2, how do I improve gas mileage, fuel economy? You know, this one's always funny, and the first thing I always think, that the devil that sits on this shoulder says, well, didn't you look at the sticker when you bought it? I mean, it says right there what kind of fuel economy it gets. Although I will say, I have found that typically the fuel economy that you see in real life is always lower than what that sticker says. But as to whether or not you can increase fuel economy, well, the simple answer is no. Now, there are a couple things you can do, maybe if you're willing. One, just don't drive it as much. You're going to get better fuel economy if it just sits in the drive. 2, be lighter on the accelerator. You know, it's not a race car. You don't have to be the first one through the light. Got some gnats out here driving me nuts. But you don't have to be the first one through the light, right? Just ease into that accelerator. It will make a difference. Don't sit and idle. If you're gonna be somewhere and you're talking to your buddies or something, and I know a lot of people do this because I see it all the time. Somebody will be sitting off the road somewhere, whatever, talking to their buddies, and the truck is just running. It could sit there and run for 5 or 10 minutes. That obviously is gonna affect fuel economy. Other than that, don't fall for the gimmicks out there. They're not gonna make a difference. Different exhaust, cold air intakes, these little air tornado things that you can put on the throttle body, they don't work. Don't fall for it. It is what it is. If you want something that's better, you're probably gonna have to buy a different truck. Number 4, I love this one. Oil change frequency. How often do I need to change the oil? You know, I bought the truck, I've got Toyota Care, and they wouldn't change my oil. I took it in, I had 2,000 miles on it. Well, if you read the manual or Toyota Care itself, it will tell you that they do not change the oil unless you've exceeded 10,000 miles or 1 year. Now, that's the big kicker, is the 1 year deal. You know, I've had people tell me, you know, I've only got 2,000 miles on my truck and they won't change the oil, and I've had it for a little over a year. Well, they do, and they will, because I've done it myself. I actually went in, had the oil changed on mine, and the service advisor did question it. Well, you only have 2,000 miles on the truck. I said, yeah, but it's been over a year, and the manual says, as does Toyota Care, that the oil should be changed once a year or at 10,000 miles. So they changed my oil. It wasn't a big deal. I think I just had to educate that service manager a little bit, but they will do it. Should you change it more frequently than that? I don't know. You know, with today's synthetic oils, it's probably not necessary. It really depends on the conditions you're running in. You know, if you run the truck hot a lot, yeah, I'd probably change it at 5,000. If you run it in dusty, dirty areas, yeah, I'd probably change it at 5,000. If you're gonna keep the truck forever, well, it can't hurt to change the oil. That's the lifeblood of the Tacoma. I'd change it every 5,000 miles. But it all depends. For someone like me, I don't keep them a whole long time, so to change it any more frequently than what the manual or Toyota Care recommends, I'm not gonna do it. Number 5, how can I make the Tacoma faster? Well, again, I look at that devil sitting right there and I said, didn't you take it for a test drive? It's not the fastest truck on the road. There are a couple of things you can do. Honestly, really only one. Well, there are 2. You can supercharge it. That'll cost you $8,000 to $10,000. It'll be faster. You'll have to burn premium fuel. Hopefully they get it right when they tune it and set it up. But who wants to do that? I'm not gonna spend 8 to 10 grand on my truck and hope that the place that's doing it does it right and I don't have any troubles. I'm not gonna do that. The other thing is a lag eliminator. I'm running the Sprint Booster on mine. There's Pedal Commander. There's other ones out there. It will get rid of throttle lag. It will make the truck feel faster because you won't have that lag when you take off. It doesn't increase horsepower. It's not really making the truck faster. Those devices just allow you to utilize the power that the truck has right off of the line. And I've got to say, it is a profound difference. I love mine on this truck. I wouldn't own a 3rd gen Tacoma without it. Some other vehicles out there too, which by the way, they make these things for other vehicles. It's not just the Tacoma. But that's about all you can do. Putting a cold air intake on, while it may increase horsepower by 5, you're not gonna feel that in the seat. You're only gonna feel that if you hook it up to a sensitive piece of equipment like a dyno that's gonna track that horsepower increase, but it's not something you can feel. Same thing with the exhaust. You're not gonna feel that either. Number 6, do I need 4-wheel drive? There's that devil again. Well, how do I know what you need? It depends on what you're gonna do with the truck. And you know, my buddy Randall, recently we were having a conversation about 4-wheel drive versus 2-wheel drive, and what really makes the difference, depending on the conditions that you're in. I mean, if you're in real severe conditions, something where you're prone to get stuck or need that traction on all the wheels to crawl up a hill, what's really important are the tires. That's what makes the difference, because a 2-wheel drive on a normal trail is gonna go through just as much as the 4-wheel is. I think having 4-wheel drive gives a false sense of power to some folks. They think if they have 4-wheel drive, they can go through anything. You know, 10 feet of water, mud pits that are 8 feet deep. No, it doesn't work that way. So it really depends on what you're gonna do with the truck. If you have a need for 4-wheel drive, you should buy 4-wheel drive. If you're not an off-roader and you don't live in a severe winter climate, get a lot of snow, ice, that kind of stuff, because 4-wheel drive does come handy in those conditions, then no, I wouldn't spend the extra money. Why haul around all that extra weight and pay the extra money for something you're never gonna use? Just so you can say, I have a 4-wheel drive? Buy a 2-wheel and stick a 4-wheel drive badge on the side. If you're never gonna use it, what's the difference? Anyway, those are just the 6 most frequently asked Tacoma questions that I see on the channel and on forums and other places. If there's anything that I missed, let me know. I'd be curious. Also, do me a favor. It helps out the channel. The YouTube algorithms like it. Smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive JT, all about Jeep Gladiators, with a little bit of Wrangler action thrown in. And RobMotive FST, all about full-size trucks. For now. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.